Greetings, everyone. Steve Cole here, coming at you from the EMS FTEP 2.0 Revision Project, here with our February 2022 update. So, as we move along, I want to briefly bring you up to speed. We started this project in August of 2021 at Pinnacle, and our first meeting of the revision group was really in September. Since that time, we formed three primary working groups: the survey group, the model SEG group, and the curricular group, with the idea that the work of those, depending on their success, would evolve into some other working groups. So let's talk about where we are today. So, as we talked about earlier, the survey group was just about done and ready to be published. We came up with about 33 questions relating to the perceptions, the ranking of topics, feedback on what worked and what didn't with the first version of FTEP. And also we tried to wrap in other non-NEMSMA FTOs if possible. So far, we've only gotten responses from people who've taken the NEMSMA course, at least that's what it looks like. Right now, the project is completed. We have the survey out there. You may have seen the links to the survey. Please feel free to share that. It's moving right along, and actually we're getting some pretty good results from that. The only thing that I have that I'm not so happy about is we only have about 30 or 40 people that have taken the survey. I know there's a lot more FTOs out there, and I want to hear from them. So with that in mind, if you have the ability to share among your group or to share outside your group, please share the survey and encourage people to participate, whether they're a NEMSMA member or not. We have a way to parse that out inside the survey with the questions and question logic, and I really want to get a lot of good data. With this video, we'll send out the link to the survey itself so you can participate. I'm anticipating letting it go probably till about mid-February, about February 15th to 18th, so that we can go ahead and wrap it up and have some good results to report back. And that's really what I want to do, is in addition to filtering the results into the curricular group that's working right now, I want to report back on what we found from the survey. So I think it'll be informative for everybody involved. So, and like I said, with that, we'll take those results and see if we need to change course or anything, or if we're on the right track with the project so far. We've made a lot of progress. The second working group was the Model SEG group, the Model Standardized Evaluation Guidelines. And our goal was to create a model set of SEGs to work from. And the project also is completed. We have 18 SEG categories that we've developed with criteria for that. We have a new format for them that I think will be easier for end users to use. But more importantly, the main goal is not so much to tell agencies what to use for the SEGs. We still believe that every group or every agency needs to develop its SEGs. The more important goal for this is what it means for the project itself. And by standardizing the SEGs, we now have a standardized set to teach from. We can build the video exercises from these so they target the specific SEGs we're using. That was a weakness of the earlier videos and exercises we did. But again, like I said, I think that a lot of agencies will like the new format. A lot of agencies will probably adopt it, but it's not mandatory to be an FTEP organization for them to do so. So I think it's a really good project. I'm glad it's done, and we'll see what pops out of it. The final group that we started on is the curricular group, and this group is still ongoing. Sarah Houston is the lead on this. I'm participating along with other people, and we certainly had some slowdown over the holidays, which is perfectly acceptable and to be expected. Right now, we have about 24 topics or individual presentations identified, and we're building out both the objectives and the lesson plans for those. And I would say we're probably about 35 to 40% completed, just as a rough number. But it's a lot of work, and make no mistake, this project is the biggest project is probably more involved than the other two combined. As far as what we have going on right now, we are continuing to build the lesson plans, and from the lesson plans, we'll develop lesson content. So in other words, to put it in very simple, practical terms, or as my daughter says, to break it down Barney style, we're building the lesson plans, and from the lesson plans, we'll build the slide deck and the other materials that will deliver it. We also have to determine the best methods of delivery for each topic. And there's been a lot of talk about the hybrid model and online versus in-person education. And I think what I anticipate, again, this isn't a final decision, this isn't the final product, but being knee deep in this, what I anticipate is that there will be some material that will be presented almost exclusively in an online asynchronous format and then bleed over a little bit into the face-to-face stuff. There'll be a lot of material that is face-to-face, but we'll also have it exist in the online space so that people have it before they arrive. As the common way to think of that is the true flipped education model. We will also have more standardized exercises than we've had in the past. I won't say less lecture, but certainly the lecture we do have, we're going to try to make better. But we're going to have more exercises, more tabletop discussions, small group discussions, and so on and so forth. After this, after we develop the rest of this material, we'll have some basic guidelines for what the exercises will be, which will include video vignettes, so that when we can hand off to the video group, when that develops, they'll have a checklist or a punch list of things we want to accomplish for this, written test, and a model agenda. And when I say model agenda, I anticipate, we'll have the topics that have to be covered. We'll have the approximate timelines, kind of like what AHA does with their ACLS model. But organizations can choose to do this over a 3-day block, a 2-day block, a 5-week block with little bits here and there, whatever, as long as they piece and part the pieces together. If you have any special, and I said this last time, we haven't got much feedback on this, but if you have any example of special activities or exercises that you found was exceptionally useful in your FTEP course, please send it to us so that may inspire us to incorporate them in the new revision, hopefully. And that leads me to what the curricula group needs. We need some more participation. We have some people who are regulars, who show up and who have contributed significantly. But just like with any group project, it's really a small group of people doing a lot of the work, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. These are the go-getters, and that's understandable. But we want to make sure we have some diverse input and maybe some perspectives we haven't considered before. So if you are interested at all in helping out, either in a small part or a big part, Sarah Houston is the point of contact. I am kind of helping her out. Please reach out to us, and there is our information that you are interested in. We'll get you the meeting times and maybe some projects that you can work on offline to help us out. Very much appreciated, very much needed. So where does that leave us now? Let's talk about where we are and where we're going. And I've already hinted to this, but sometimes it helps to break it down, as my daughter says, Barney style. As you know, we started with the survey group, the curricula group, and the model SE groups. And we had kind of a list of goals for each of those. And where we are now is we have completed those two, but the work of the curricula group is increasing. We have the basic lesson plan outlined, but now we need to develop the content. And with the content, the exercises, and the format delivery. And I already talked about that a little bit, but really that's a big chunk of work. Why is everything focusing on the curricula group right now? Yeah, you don't see any other stuff out there. Well, as I mentioned, so many other groups and the work that's going to come in the future are directly dependent on the work of the curricula group. So we have to get this put to bed moving forward. So that includes the video group. And with the video group comes storyboarding for the vignettes. And again, it is dependent on the work of the curricula group. We look at the online content and developing the pre-course modules, the flipped education modules. We need to know what the content is from the curricula group before we can build the online portion. The next group is, of course, the test group. And the test group that will write the test based on the curricula. That will include the pre-course test, the post-course test, the post-course assessment, and also we'll probably have them do a post-course survey, which will be kind of easy to do compared to the first two. Post-course survey to see what people liked and didn't like about this new model. And then from this will be the D&M revision, the Developing Managing course. And we anticipate that both shrinking a bit and being more focused. But we also anticipate taking the time that we save from that and developing an advanced FTEP course for the people that actually do the nuts and bolts of writing SEGs and managing FTO groups on the day-to-day. And another thing we'd like to do is see this move into the academic world. So a model academic curricula, which will be largely dependent on the curricula group, but just put in a more academically palatable format. So that's where we're going. We still have a lot of work, but we're making progress. Every month we have a good chunk knocked out, and we're eating this elephant one bite at a time. And with that, I also want to know what you think about this video format for updating you. If you think it's more convenient, if you want to have face-to-face to answer questions, if which works best for you, and if this meets your needs, or if I'm missing anything, please email me directly. If you have any questions, email me directly. And as always, be safe out there, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.